Before we start the show, let me thank you for clicking onto this video. If you'd like to see more videos like these, why not subscribe and hit the bell button so you'll never miss an episode. Now, on with the show.
One mark will be vehicle 6. Comprised of warrior women.
Hi friends, I'm LJ Jarvis, and welcome back to Will's Jarvis Show.
Greetings everyone, welcome back to On Air with Jarvis, the podcast of all things Warhammer and general stuff I find of interest. Joining us today is the most smashing Turk, the Smashin Badger. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good, thanks. I've actually been playing Team My Blood Ravens recently, and I'm certainly having fun.
Yeah, I've been seeing the pictures you've been posting. They're coming along great. I like what you did with the sergeant, putting the Death Watch shoulder pad on him. Adds character.
Yeah, it really
I love
is, and that's something I actually wanted to do for some time. Give a character, make one Space Marine within a squad a Death Watch veteran.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I've actually been wanting to do something similar. Start like a small Deathwing force, but you know, I have enough. I have a lot. Fucking hell. I have enough plastic at the moment.
Yeah, I have like a shelf full of plastic, and I was thinking to myself, maybe I should start painting again with stuff that I already have. And considering that this Space Marine Force is like 2 years old, maybe I should start painting them Blood Ravens again.
Oh yeah, man. I've been slowly making my way through one of the 3 Age of Darkness boxes I bought.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's rough, but I'm having a good time.
Well, it's good that you're having a good time then.
Yeah.
But then again, it's more like I had to, then again, I was on hiatus because I've been wanting to study for my license exam, last year. So of course I decided to put my painting stuff to the side. But then recently I thought to myself, well, I want to put, come on, I'm in my 20s. I want to do more than just be in the book. So why don't I just open back up the case and do some painting again?
Yeah, exactly. And real life always gets in the way, but it's always good to come back to the hobby every now and then. Something similar happened to me a bit ago where I had to try and find a new job. And I couldn't do anything hobby related for like a solid 3 or 4 months. So and getting back into it after that long of a hiatus, it can take a time.
Yeah, it's like we have responsibilities to we all have responsibilities, and sometimes the stuff that we want to do has to be put to the side,
Yeah, exactly. Until you start making that big YouTube money.
What YouTube money?
Yeah. Hey, who knows? Who knows what the futures hold? One day you'll be up there with Luton.
I don't think so. I wouldn't go that far, knowing myself.
You got it, man.
But, I'm actually playing on other units to build for the, Blood Ravens horse I'm doing. Like, I'm already thinking about what to get. And you probably know that. Oh, sorry, what?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, and everyone probably knows that I want to, start picking up some Phobos armored Space Marines.
Phobos Marines. Interesting. Controversial, I dare say.
It's like, I just find them neat.
They are cool. Yeah, not quite my cup of tea, but I can appreciate a good Phobos Marine.
And this one might be a bit controversial, but I want to pick up some Desolators when they come out.
Ooh, yeah, no, cannot stand by you with that one.
It's like, oh, come on. I find them to be neat. I really like the idea that these are Primaris Devastators, and I like the rocket launcher aesthetic that they gave them.
Nah, they're not my thing. The rocket launchers, they remind me of that old robot movie. I can't remember its name. It was going about in a meme where they'd Photoshop the missile launcher as that dude's head.
What is it, like Bionicle?
No. It's like an old, I think maybe 80s movie or something. But no, you see, if they put in a bit of plasma, then I'd be in.
But we already have something like that. They're called Hellblasters.
Yeah, but like a heavy weapons version.
They have a heavy weapons version in the squad.
Yeah. I want the old plasma cannons though.
Okay.
Yeah, like real heavy weapons. Just let me get some Primaris carrying around like a dreadnought arm or something. Then I'll be in.
Hmm. Which will be something to segue for in this show. Something to bring up.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, then again, I had the thought that should they be given like a heavy bolter or something like that, but then again, if they were to do that, I think they already did something like that for the heavy intercessors. So it'd be like, what would be the point be?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of a problem I have with some of the Primaris range. It doesn't really give a whole lot of wiggle room. If you get what I mean, like not as many weapon options, I should say, as like the older kits where you could get like, like some melters, some flamers, some I don't know, like plasma and stuff like that in one squad.
There is something like that, yeah. Then again, in something like intercessors, like the traditional vanilla variants, you do have things like 3 different kinds of bolters you can give to your guys, which I think is a benefit. But then again,
they're still bolters.
It is still just bolters. It's like it does misses like the color of giving them flamers, meltas, rocket launchers, or giving your sergeants like the pistol and sword. Where he sort of loses character because of that.
Yeah, it does. Like I will say one thing I noticed with quite a few of like the Primaris models is when they do have plasma, the arm is cybernetic, which I think is great.
Mm-hmm. That
like that touch of like this guy's had this before and it did not go well.
And it does tell like a history behind it, and it tells the story of that model. It does. It fits so well with Dark Angels, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it fits perfectly with Dark Angels. Can't get enough of that plasma. I love it.
And what I will say, I think, is that there are models or units within the range that does fit a chapter aesthetic if you work with it.
It does, yeah. The Hellblasters do fit like a Dark Angel aesthetic, especially if you get like replace some of the heads with a hood.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. But another one that, on the topic of Dark Angels, if you want to throw in with something you think would fit a Blood Raven's force, feel free to chip in. But I think the Blade Guard vets also fit Dark Angels pretty well. That like sort of
definitely
nightly...
that fits. That really fits.
Oh yeah, I love Blade Guard vets. I would be interested to see you paint a few of them up as Blood Ravens. I don't think I've ever seen like Blade Guard Blood Ravens before.
There's this one person on Twitter who recently just followed me, and he saw that I was painting Blood Ravens, and when I checked out his Twitter, he also does Blood Ravens, and looks like he has done some Blade Guard veterans.
Oh, really? Sweet. Send me his out. I'll give him a follow.
Mm-hmm. If I were to do Blade Guards, that might be a little while down the line because there's other stuff I want to do. But I think maybe I'll paint the robes be like a black, or maybe spice up the color scheme by making it maybe a purple or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like a black or purple, maybe like
or maybe gold. Gold will definitely fit.
Oh yeah, red and like a warm gold. Go over it with some like Gilman flesh or Seraphim sepia. That could be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking it. Yeah, I'm liking it, man.
But yeah, as the intro may suggest, you're from the Emperor's homeland, if I'm right, or at least that's where your family's from.
Kind of. My dad is from glorious Turkey, but my mum was actually from the UK. I am, as my dad used to lovingly call me, a mixed kebab. But yeah, we are from like the Black Sea region, Samsun province, which nice place, mountains, cold in the winter. Love to go there. I'd recommend going there, not Greece.
Yeah, I saw the meme where it's like the Turk and the Greek man going off at each other on the what's it called, webcam or web chat?
Yeah.
It's like I'm more white than you. I'm blonde hair. You look gypsy.
You look gypsy. I love that. But no, memes aside, I do like the relations between Greece and Turkey is an interesting thing because historical enemies, but also neighbors. So there will always be that like that kind of tension, usually tongue in cheek, but like recently with the earthquakes, Greece sent some of the like first aid to Turkey, so it's that kind of understanding where, despite everything, if something happens, we'll help each other out.
Hmm. It's
Yeah.
like that was a huge, like,
Oh yeah, it
you
was
know,
like I think 50,000 dead so far,
mm,
and that's not even getting into the like amount of history that's been lost.
oh, definitely. It's like I heard about that castle that fell.
Yeah, I think like that was like maybe God, 5th century. I can't quite remember, but yeah, that was yeah, it's a tragedy. But hopefully in time we'll rebuild.
Hmm. It's just to make sure the people are safe, you know?
Exactly, yeah. And anyone who's curious, the listening, like mutuals, friends of ours, my family's all completely fine. They're okay. Physically, they are on the other side of the country to where this earthquake struck.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, if any of you can, spare anything to help go towards the rescue or recovery, that would be greatly appreciated. The Red Crescent is a great charity to go to. Anything like that. Me and my family have donated about, in total, maybe about £1,000.
Nice. That's
But
very
yeah,
nice.
it's it's one of those things. It's on a fault line. It happens, but this was like the worst one since I think the 80s.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah,
uh,
I've always found Turkey to be interesting in terms of like culture and history and all that.
oh yeah, well it's been the Rome, Byzantines, Ottomans. Even before that, you had like Beyliks of Turkic tribes. I think a little bit of Timurid. It's a storied region. That's the word I was looking for.
Hmm.
But yeah, even like modern Turkish history, like after the 20s when the Republic came around, it's yeah, interesting, if bloody at times, region.
Hmm.
Like for example, I posted a picture in Discord God, it could have been a couple of months ago at this point, of my great grandfather during the Turkish War of Independence.
Oh, I think I remember that. That's actually really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting thing about that guy, not a Turk. He was ethnically Albanian.
Oh.
Yeah, from like back during the Ottoman Empire's times, and ended up having to flee the country after the Balkan War,
Hmm.
and the Ottomans were kicked out. But yeah, it's yeah, Turkish history interesting. I'd recommend checking it out.
Definitely. And
And if you can ever go to the country, it's definitely worth the travel. Like, even just going to somewhere like Istanbul, it'll be memorable.
mhm.
Beautiful city.
And that's something I might consider down the line.
Mm, yeah, I on like the opposite side of that, I do want to go to Canada at some point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've because obviously you are Canadian, you're a
Mm.
friend of mine. I've heard some stuff about it, but my aunt actually goes to Canada quite often. I think like the Toronto area,
Mhm.
and she's told me some very good things about it.
Mhm.
Like a very naturally beautiful country.
Yeah. I will say that it does kind of like fit with the meme joke where most of everybody lives down south, and especially in a
Mm,
small little region in Ontario. But um, the rest of the landscape, it is like otherworldly almost to say.
yeah, I've seen some pictures of like further north, I guess it'd be, where
Hmm.
it's like just white and forests and like mountains and shit. It does look very picturesque, but also the sort of place a Wendigo would kill me.
That's right. You go to like some abandoned mining village.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Because I did exact meme of that last night.
Yeah. I saw the meme this morning. It got me thinking. Go to Canada, try and get some of that Wendigussie.
No, don't. It's a trap.
Nah, it's worth it.
It has rows of teeth.
I have a monster fucker permit. It's cool. Don't worry.
So eat you out, but not in the way you want.
Oh, gross.
And my parents listen to this, but oh well.
Oh no. Oh dear God.
But
Mr. and Mrs. Jarvis, he's talking about taking the Wendigo out to a nice Italian dinner.
No, I'm not.
Oh God. But yeah.
But yeah, tell us about yourself, Badger. What exactly? Who may be exactly for the audience who may not know you, and what exactly got Dark Angels to be your favorite chapter?
So as for who I am a absolute nobody. I simp Dark Angels and shitpost 40k. That's basically my entire personality. But
and also Turkish memes. And also Turkish memes. That's one.
Oh yeah, and Balkanian. But yeah, so as for what got me into the Dark Angels, well, they were like my first minis I ever got. So like my first actual like 40k purchase outside of books, because I got into the hobby through books, was the Dark Vengeance box set. I got that in about, I think 2012 maybe.
You know, I actually got that box too. I actually got that box too when like years ago. Yeah,
it's such a good box. I really wish GW would like do an anniversary thing with it or something, because I'd snag that bad boy up in a heartbeat. It was such a good box because you got like the Chaos Warband with the like old Chosen models, which were far superior to the new Chosen models. Then you got like the Dark Angel side of it with Balthazar and like the Deathwing Terminators and the Ravenwing Bikers. I think if you got like the first run of it, you also got an Interrogator Chaplain, which, you know, I'm all about, being Interrogator Chaplain Badger.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Dark Angels, I've always been kind of into like Arthurian like stuff, like Knights of the Round Table and stuff like that. So as I'd learned more about beyond just being like my boys, my first minis, I don't know, they just kind of really appealed to me in that like paranoid yet honorable sort of way. I found them to be an interesting, like, kind of hypocritical force that you don't really see all that much in Space Marines, in my opinion. Like with the Space Wolves, the fucking biggest Mary Sues, where they're assholes yet are faultless and nothing bad happens to them. God, I hate Space Wolves.
That's something I'm going to bring up, definitely.
Oh yeah, I got a lot to say about the Space Wolves, but yeah, that's just kind of how Dark Angels became my go-to chapter. They were my first, and the more I like read up about the lore, the more I just fell in love. Like small things like the Interrogator Chaplains, which are my personal favorite aspect of the lore, how they are like so batshit insane, even by like chaplain standards. They can make Space Marines like repent and feel fear, and how like they keep track of the fallen. They make repent by adding black pearls to their Rosarius. Just little things like that just add that like delicious dark flavor to it. Also, some of the old Dark Angel artwork is just amazing.
That's something I'll definitely say. It's like the Dark Angels, even though I'm not a Dark Angels fan and I haven't read, any of their books besides one, which is something I'm gonna. But what I will say is that they are aesthetically really pleasing to look at, especially with how they how their lore is. It's like you have the Deathwing, the Nightwing. If I believe that's what it's called, right? Raven. My bad.
Yeah. Cool.
It's not a Batman character.
Oh no, hell yeah! But you think it's confusing in 40k? You should go to like the Heresy where you had the Hexagrammaton, like the Dread Wing, the Fire Wing, the Iron Wing.
Oh man,
KFC extra spicy wing. It's like the amount of wings that the old Dark Angels have, which is badass. Like especially when you get into the Dread Wing, which are war crimes and genocide, and like old Dark Age of tech being unleashed on a battlefield. That's badass, but very confusing.
Yeah. Like especially with like Forge World, like 30k stuff, 30k Dark Angels. It's like, oh, that's nice. Especially like their armor, and which is splits between black and white.
Oh yeah, okay. One of my big criticisms about not big criticism, more of a like personal taste thing. I don't like the green.
Oh, like that's for like Martin
40k Dark Angels. Yeah, I don't like the green. That's why I paint most of my Dark Angels as Deathwing. I like the like bone white, but the change from the like crisp black and red of the like OG Dark Angels to the green, it's not my favorite, but I still have plenty of like green wing, like Marines and stuff. But it's not my favorite to paint. Also, like the highlighting for painting like green Dark Angels is kind of boring and annoying.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this right now because it's something I'm going to get off my chest. I think the Dark Angels, because how you brought up the Arthurian, legends aesthetic, I think they have a better like King Arthur theme than the Bretonians from Warhammer Fantasy.
I've heard about that. I'm going to say it now. I don't know much about the fantasy side of things. I've always been 40k. I'm slowly learning, thanks to a mutual friend of ours pointing me in a good direction of a YouTube channel. Bretonians, I don't know. Like, is that old fantasy or are they in AOS too?
Well, they're not in AOS. When we're talking like old fantasy, we're talking like very, very old fantasy. Like we're talking like first edition, but something like Bretonians, they were around since what I think was 10th edition when they retired. Warhammer Fantasy. So Bretonians were always there, and they were still front and center, despite some of their models being old at that time. But what I will say is that some of their lore is really bit uninspired because it doesn't make any subtleties with stuff like Lay of the Lake,
Oh, okay. All right. So it's like very on the nose.
Yeah, it's very on the nose.
The Bretonians were the cavalry like knights, weren't they?
Well, they are. It's like they are like, Grail Knights, Knights Errant. They were all in for the Knights theme, the whole Knights idea, which I think it's good. Which I think is a really cool idea.
Yeah, you kind of need to have that in a fantasy setting, to be honest. So.
Yeah, but it's like, when you look into stuff like Lay of the Lake, it's like, drink this holy grail and you'll see power. It's like,
oh god,
you see what I'm going at?
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Jesus, that's. I don't know why, but because I've seen some artwork of Bretonians, I always thought they'd take a bit more of like a Polish sort of thing. Like,
oh no, that's Kislev. That's Kislev.
Oh, okay. Okay, Kislev. They're the bear ones, aren't
they? They are, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember the Top 4 trailer with them, where you had the guy slowly turning the corn. That was cool as hell. I had no idea what any of it meant. But yeah, the Arthurian side of things, especially when you get into like the Lion, obviously King Arthur,
and some stuff of Lancelot in there, yeah.
Yeah, that's Luther, Lancelot. There's no Guinevere, but who knows, with Farsight coming along, he might be the Guinevere to the Lion. But yeah, the Arthurian stuff definitely helped me become as big of a Dark Angels fan as I am. But it's much more subtle. That's more of like from the books that I've read, that's more of like Caliban than the Dark Angels, where Caliban is kind of like you get much more of the like with all the knightly orders of Caliban, you would get a bit more of that like Arthurian aesthetic and tone to it, which I loved, but Caliban got what it's deserved. Don't turn against the Emperor. But yeah, the Dark Angels definitely do have a unique tie to Arthurian, like more aesthetic than themes, because the Dark Angels are very suspicious people, not quite to the knightly and chivalrous values that is portrayed in Arthurian legend. At least not all the time.
It's like at least Games Workshop didn't go to the point where it's like they named the rock Camelot or something like that.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Or it's like we're out to find the lion's holy grail.
Oh God! Well, you never know. That might be how they get him to wake up. Watch us busting out the holy grail. No, that would be stupid. Don't do that, GW. But yeah, no, that I could definitely see like. You need subtlety with like despite the bombastic nature of Warhammer, you do need subtlety to like really make a faction appealing. It's a fine line between like this is cool and this is stupid.
Definitely. It's like there does come a point where it's like this sounds really cool or this becomes really cheesy.
Yeah, like
everyone likes cheese, but there's a thing that's too much cheese on a pizza or something like that.
Oh yeah, like I will say I like some now since we're on to like subtleties and that the how I think are actually a pretty good like
definitely
with subtlety when it comes to not so much like the weeb mechs, but the samurai aesthetic. That is like a subtle bit of flavor that just adds to the faction.
It's like me and Quills talked about this in the last podcast, so I'm going to actually use this to segue into this part where it's like characters like Farsight and his new model, because we're because we're on the whole topic of aesthetic, and because his model base has the what was it called? The flowers.
The cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms. It's not painted pink, but it's going to be pink for everyone else. So.
Oh yeah, it's going to be pink. That was on the nose, but in the best kind of way.
Yeah. So, how does that fit? It's like I think it fits well, and
I think it fits really well.
Yeah, despite what people think, it fits well.
Yeah, that new Farsight model is great. I have no complaints. I'm not like a huge Tau fan. I like them. They're cool. I have a couple of Tau, but I'm not too knowledgeable, and I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan. But that new Farsight model is great. I'm definitely going to grab him at some point.
Oh, definitely. And something to briefly say on, if you were to compare his new crisis suit, or his new battle suit, mind you, it is like a new war suit. It's called the Supernova suit.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not what the Empire would use, or I think it's called the Cold Star suit. I think that's what it's called. But cool. But for this one, it's like a brand new Enclave exclusive suit made for Farsight.
Oh, that's dope. I like that. That's badass. I did think it looked a little different to like some of the other like mainline Tau Empire battle suits that we've seen. One big ass sword. It gives me more like not so much samurai, but more like Ronin vibes.
Yes, I was thinking. Because that's how I see Farsight, and like
exactly. Me too. Like the samurai without a master. That's
exactly.
I really love that like aesthetic and that change. Even the pose, it's badass, and the hexagrammaton symbol on his gauntlet. Dark Angel. Let's go.
And there's actually something I want to say about that, but
I know. I think I have an idea what that's going to be, but let me dream.
Yeah, but what I'll definitely also say about the Christ Far Side suit is that when you were to compare it to the mainland Tau Empire, this one looks a lot more like a cylinder, or it's more round.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? Hold on. Let me
As in, it's like it's more smooth compared to the box shape.
hold on, I'm just getting a picture up. Oh yeah, compared to like the old one, yeah, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I think actually gives the character, his own voice. Is like it makes him a character,
Yeah, it's a great way to like separate the Enclave from the like mainline Tau. I hope like the Farsight Enclave gets its own like range, not like full on, but like a battlesuit hero there that have that aesthetic more. That'd be a great way to separate
like that's why I think that's why I think characters like what's his name? It's something sword. Damn, what's his name?
Bright
Sword. Yes. Why did I forget his name? Yeah, that's why I think characters like him should get a model where he has like these dual plasma swords on his hands.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would love if all of the 8 get a model.
That might be tricky though, because
that would be tricky, but it'd be cool.
Yeah, because one of them is a pure riptide.
That's a good point. I forgot about that guy. But
it's like, come on, within the 8, it's like you only know like 4 characters. It's like Farsight, Farsight.
I know Farsight, my beloved Torchstar, the
Bright
one
Sword.
who's an AI, Bright Sword, and the one who's an AI. I can't remember it. It's Ogadai, isn't it?
Maybe, but I also do know that there's Bravestorm, Farsight's friend.
I'm not sure which one that is.
He's one of Farsight's. Bravestorm was one of his friends that got entombed within a broadside suit, so he's basically almost like a dreadnought.
Oh, that's cool! A Tau dreadnought, that'd be badass. That would be cool, man. I think the Tau could definitely use like especially the Enclave, because I don't know, I don't have the codex, but didn't they get left out of the new Tau codex, or am I completely wrong?
Oh no, Farsight's in the codex.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. What was there was a faction that got left out of the of like a mainline codex. Oh, I'm thinking
Sisters
of the Chaos Space. Yeah, no. I'm thinking of the Chaos Space Marines, like leaving out the World Eaters.
Well, that's because of the World Eaters codex.
Yeah. I was getting that confused. I thought like the Tau left out Farsight and was going to give them their own thing, but no.
Technically, he did have his own codex years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. That had some dope cover work.
Oh, I just wish I picked it up.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. I do like the Farsight Enclave quite a lot, to be honest. I think they've got by far the strongest lore of all of the Tau.
Mm-hmm.
And the color scheme, like that deep red, it's badass.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think because, or what little subtlety there is from the Arc of Omens trailers, I think it is confirmed that the Lion is returning, so you must be excited on that.
I'm so hyped. But after the one that was revealed yesterday, the night or something, that is just straight up a copy of the Lion's like Forge World model. That is so on the nose, it's got me doubting whether he'll be coming back.
Oh, really?
Not really, but like that is like, it makes me worry they'll pull like an M. Night Shyamalan twist and like Sanguinius or like the Khan will come back instead.
Oh.
Just because of how like on the nose that is. But yeah, I am unbelievably hyped about the Lion's imminent return, hopefully. That will be so interesting from like a story standpoint and a model standpoint, because goddamn, I love the Forge World Lion model, but I hate resin.
Oh, don't get me started on resin.
Oh, it sucks.
But here's the thing too, it's like, imagine if they never showed off Ezreal's model, like before the recent Lion trailers.
Yeah,
So what I'm thinking is that imagine if they never showed off his model and these trailers were coming out and people are saying, "Oh, it's a lion," only for it to turn out to be Azrael.
I would be so pissed.
Like that would have been something to consider, but because they showed off Azrael's model way before these trailers, and because these trailers are showing off like maybe a fifth book, I think maybe it could be the lion. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think it kind of has to be the lion at this point to make like sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's not the lion, they've kind of written themselves in a corner to where like if they pull up and be like, "Oh no, it was Luther, it was his return," or something like that. That makes
I haven't considered.
It could be, but the deal is that Luther's already busted out, or was let go. So I don't think it'd make too much sense. It could, but it would not be satisfying. To me, at least.
How would you feel if Luther were to get modeled, though?
I would love it. I actually really like Luther as a character. I think he's a very interesting and complex character. Have you listened or read to his book, Luther?
No, I haven't. But I do know, like in the current situation, there was a demon invasion on the rock, and that's how he was able to escape.
Well, possible spoilers for the Luther book here. So if anyone's listening and wants to read that, cover your ears for a bit.
I'm not posting a time skip.
Oh damn! But yeah, it's actually implied that there was the demonic invasion, but it's implied that the Watchers let him go because the Watchers kind of kept him in like this time loop where he would be in like the deepest dungeons of the rock, and he'd be talking to like for example, there's the Dark Angel Red Loss who took over like kind of like right after Caliban fell.
Okay.
And then Red Loss leaves, and then the next chapter master walks in almost immediately. And it's been like 3,000 years or something.
Okay.
So, and that's like, it like kind of slowly drives Luther insane. And he has to start, and he like retells these like stories of his life on Caliban, and like near the end it gets to the arrival of the lion. Surprising lack of the lion, to be honest, in that book.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes into like he's telling stories like his first how Luther became a knight of the order to hopefully like get lessons or like pass on lessons to the Dark Angel chapter masters. But they're all there to interrogate him, like repent and
of course.
As the Dark Angels are wont to do. And it ends with like Luther sensing that this like time fuckery has like stopped, and he leaves the cell and then just like leaves. So the Watchers let him go for a reason. And personally, what I think that is to rally the fallen. So when the lion does return, the fallen will, reunite with the modern 40k Dark Angels and will become just like the biggest Space Marine like group in the galaxy at that point. You'd have
that's what I haven't considered.
You would have the like Dark Angels, the chapter, reuniting with the Fallen to make like a full legion, and then all of the Unforgiven chapters too. So you'd basically have like 2 legions.
Oh, that's something I haven't considered, and especially with like the relationship with Gilliman.
Oh yeah. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited for Lion's return, because those 2 did not leave on like good terms.
No, because I haven't gone that far in the Horus Heresy books, but yeah, that was something I was hoping for. That there is like this sort of brother tension between them, Game of Thrones tension.
Oh yeah, there is, because the Lion bombed McCrack.
Oh.
Yeah, the Lion bombed, like it was during like when Kurz was on the crag doing his shenanigans, and the Lion like disguised like basically nukes or something similar as drop pods, like behind Gilliman's back, and Gilliman even like broke his sword because of it, which was cringe. That was a dope ass sword.
Oh, that the lion committing war crimes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It, you say war crimes, I say base decisions. But yeah, so the deal is, right, I don't think that the lion will like secede from the Imperium or like try and do his own, like his own thing. I think that what will happen is the lion will come back. There'll be some tension between him and Gilliman. Gilliman will name the lion the War Master.
Oh,
Like
that would be cool.
yeah,
That would be dope because he wanted to be War
because
Master. Yeah.
he's wanted to be War Master so much. Or it's not even that he wanted to, because the lion, like, it's not like for personal reasons. He genuinely feels that he is the best suited to be the War Master and that he can lead the Imperium like to glory. And he is right. From a purely like military standpoint, the lion is the best choice.
But it's
Issue
just
is,
yeah, he's
yeah,
not the most,
no, he's not. You see, the issue with the heresy or like the Great Crusade era War Master, it's equal part politician and like general,
oh,
and the
he's not a
lion is not a
politician.
politician. No.
No.
But in 40k, you have Gilliman as the regent, Lion as the War Master. The
Yes.
lion, Gilliman would then send the lion in my like perfect world. Gilliman then sends the lion into Imperial Nihilus with the full Dark Angels Legion.
Oh, yes, that's something cool. That's something cool.
You then
I
have
haven't
that whole
considered any of
front
this.
there. Yeah, you then have that whole front where the traitors and like Abaddon, especially with Vashtor now coming up, because depending on how things go in this latest Vashtor book, which I managed to pre-order, I reckon like Vashtor will take something, or like will basically I feel like Vashtor's going to win in a way, like this Battle of the Rock takes some like Dark Age of Tech like shit, and the when the lion does wake up, part of the thing he'll be doing in Nihilus is trying to get that back.
Mm-hmm. That's something I haven't considered, and that's such brilliant writing that I don't think Games Workshop's going to do.
Oh yeah, no, in GW it will be like the lions actually fall into chaos or something. Which, if that does happen, I'll be fucking pissed.
No, don't do that. But
no, I regret putting that out into the universe. In fact,
no, I mean like the relationship with him and Gilman, where
yeah, that would be. They need to have like at least one like scene where it's just those two.
Yes,
And they need to talk.
And the whole idea of the lion becoming War Master and them working with each other, where Gilman will play politician, the lion will play War Master. It's like that fits perfectly.
It also adds plenty of like the lion's going to make Gilliman's life so hard.
Oh, he will,
because he like. Can you imagine the lion running into the Inquisition?
Oh, I sort of imagine him as like Soldier Boy from The Boys.
Oh yeah, that's a damn good like. That is a great like call there. Soldier Boy from The Boys. That's difficult to say. But yeah, that's a great one. Like the lion running into the Inquisition is going to be like insane. You thought the Months of Shame were wild.
Well, imagine him coming across like the Ecclesiarchy.
That is another thing I'm excited for, because the lion is not. He doesn't really give a shit about circumstance, so I like to imagine him like rolling up to this like shrine world, and there's this huge religious festival about it, and he just ignores it all.
Yeah, it's like Ineptus gave his idea on that in the podcast. He's like, nope, get rid of it all. Get rid of it all.
Yep. Go. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting my time. Build fortifications.
And he doesn't care.
No, he would not care at all, and he wouldn't be like Gilliman, where he would put up with it.
That's right.
Like he would not put up with. I say put up with it, but there was that time Gilliman yelled at a priest, which was very fun to read.
Oh, that was fun to read. I know what you're talking about. I read that.
Oh yeah, that's in Dark Imperium, I think.
Yeah, second book, Plague War.
Yeah. I still say that priest was an Alpha Legion plant. I don't trust him.
No, I just think he's like religiously devoted, but not in so much a way in which he'll drive Gilman crazy initially, because he doesn't like go on his knees saying praise the emperor, his son is returned. He was not like that initially, but he wants Gilman to believe in it.
He does, yeah. He's I don't know. He's not fervently religious in that way. Like he doesn't. I think it's like Freda Matthew or something. He doesn't like. He kind of reminds me of Uriah from Last Church.
Yes, I haven't considered this. I haven't considered that.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Uriah from Last Church, and Gilliman is not the emperor, because he seems almost a little bit like he's not going to convert and see the emperor as a god, but he's not as like Uriah, you're cringe, as the emperor was.
Though what I will say is that in Plague Wars, and especially in the first book, he was like thinking about the emperor's godhood, and he would actually read like the first like Divinicus book.
Yes, the Lictitio Divinitatum, I think.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And then you got the what was it? I think it's in Plague War where Yasili Suleimania, who on the odd chance Dusky is listening to this, Gilman's wife, where she actually gave Gilliman like the original copy of the like Bible, and that's when Gilliman realized Lorgar wrote this.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was a good book, man. The Dark Imperium trilogy was great.
I gotta finish the third book.
Oh yeah, Plague, Godblight. That's a good one. That's a real good one. That is a, yeah, that's a good. My favorite moment of that entire trilogy, though, was Mortarion and Gilliman talking.
Oh yes.
Not even fighting, just them talking, where you get like you see the delusion that Mortarion has. Like Mortarion is one of my favorite characters. I love him because he's so interesting. He's lying to himself, like where it's like where he's talking to Gilliman and he's like, "I'm serving the people again," and like he's just slaughtering McCragg's innocence.
It's like he almost lying to himself, almost.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because he's like Mortarion falling to chaos was one of the things I never really got as much in like the original. Like it makes sense because of Typhus and such, but like Mortarion, becoming what he hated, Psychers and the Warp and all that. So him falling to chaos always felt a bit odd to me, kind of like Perturabo becoming a demon Primarch.
Yeah, I think that's something that they sort of maybe slipped on a bit.
Yeah, I don't actually think I'll get to that in a minute, but I just want to finish this Mortarion thought. But in like Plague War, where you see how he's like lying to himself, basically, to be like, I made the right choice. I'm serving the people again, like I did on Barbarous. It's tragic. I love it. As for what I was going to say about Perturabo, I don't think he's a demon Primarch. I think they're going to retcon that into him basically having made himself a Primarch Dreadnought, kind of.
Or like a demon engine.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, because Perturabo, he would never, he wouldn't. It's out of character for him to like transcend into demonhood because, the beginning of his Primarch book literally starts with him debating a priest. He's not going to turn to worshipping any of the gods. So, I think, and from the descriptor, it's like rotten flesh. He's been described as like, rotten or like dying flesh and metal. So I think it's like he made himself to survive the like wound Fulgrim gave him. I think he like made himself a either dreadnought or like you said a demon engine, something that's keeping him like alive. That's my take, at least.
And this is something I'm interested in because of the conversation of it. So, from the Arc of Omen, because characters like Azrael has been given a new model, I am curious as to your thoughts on his said new model, but also what other Dark Angel characters you think should get a new model.
Okay, now this I can talk about. All right. First off, Azrael's new model, I love it. It's great. I like how they, as a whole, like kept the charm of his old model.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like they've pumped out an entirely new character, looks entirely different. It's the same Azrael, basically, as like his old model, but like scaled up and given that like nice Primaris polish. Like I like that the Watcher is part of the actual base now.
Oh yes,
because I would always fucking lose that guy.
yeah.
I like that you can give the Watcher new options. Like he can either be holding the helmet or the sheath. All in all, I think it's just a great model. I really enjoy Azrael. I'm probably going to pick up two.
What I will say about Azrael, and this is not because of his new model, but because his model in general, especially the first one, is that because the helmet wings were red, for some reason it makes me think of candy.
Yeah,
I don't know
like
why.
those,
I don't know why I
like,
think that, but it's like
red licorice or something.
yeah, or like licorice. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
so, and that's meant to be the lion's helmet, isn't it?
It's called the Lion's Helm. Yeah, I think I can't remember if it's actually the Lion's helmet, but it is called the Lion's Helm. It might be, but I can't really remember. I don't actually know if it is because I don't think the lion's head like is the same size as Azrael's.
No, it's not going to fit.
No, exactly. But it is called the Lion's Helm. I actually have the Dark Angels Codex right in front of me, so I just checked out his like profile, and yeah, it's called the Lion's Helm.
Maybe it's just to symbolize that. Or maybe
Yeah,
symbolism name.
yeah. Exactly. As for what other characters I would like to see get new models, first things first, not a character, but I really want a new Interrogator Chaplain model.
Oh, definitely.
I love Interrogator Chaplains. They're my favorite like unit in the entire game.
And also in lore, I find them to be cool.
Oh yeah, they are so cool in lore.
Because I was listening to a I was listening to a Death Watch audio drama, and one of the characters in it was actually Asmodai.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like his opening scene, and because he's an interrogator chaplain, it's so intimidating. It's so cool, dreadful. That I can get the whole charm behind interrogator chaplains.
Oh yeah, they are absolutely insane. The craziest chaplains around. Like I would love a story where it's a Black Templar chaplain and a Dark Angel Interrogator chaplain having to like fight off heretics together. That would be such a good read.
Mm-hmm.
Just these two like batshit insane space marines screaming about heresy.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so much fun.
And as for myself, and this is something I was going to bring up from the beginning of the show, is that I'm really into the whole idea of Primaris Terminators.
Yes, I was about to say that actually, because I actually have a theory about how they could become a thing.
Which I do too. And
yeah,
mind if I give it first?
Oh no, who do you want to go first? Me or you?
I'll give my piece.
Yeah, you go first.
So I already discussed like the ratio I have in mind for them. Like I was thinking they'll be just slightly taller than aggressors, but not as tall as, Redemptor Dreadnoughts, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but these guys will be monstrously huge and probably a unit of 3 models, considering the scale ratio.
Yeah,
because I think that's something they'll have to do.
Oh yeah. I can't see them being like more than 3 models in a kit. Like especially if they scale them up as you said they should, which I also agree with. Size wise, they should be definitely bigger than aggressors, but
So
I don't know. I think they could actually be the same size as aggressors, or like slightly bigger but more bulky.
because of the whole idea of them wearing tactical dreadnought armor.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so because I want Primaris Terminators, and because it has been sort of confirmed that there will be Primaris Terminators, what I'm thinking what Games Workshop should do with the whole idea of giving Dark Angel characters new models is that the character Belial, when he gets a new model, he will be like a Primaris Terminator, and because of him, we can get Primaris Terminators and Primaris Deathwing.
Exactly. Now, we have mostly the same opinion, but mine changes a little bit.
Okay.
I think that GW is going to kill off Belial in this new Arc of Omen book, and then a new character will come in to take the place of Belial as head of the Deathwing, and that will be how they introduce Primaris Terminators. A new Primaris Terminator character, and then like Primaris Deathwing Knights and Deathwing Terminators.
What makes you think that though? That they'll kill off Belial?
Well, I think that it would be a good way to like raise the stakes for the Dark Angels without completely like throwing out like a major character like Azrael.
Okay, that makes sense.
And as for Belial's character, he like his greatest fear is failure. So I think it would be a good like end to his character if he like died sacrificing himself for the Rock. Like there's an audio drama actually where Belial is fighting Ghazghkull.
Oh, that sounds
and
cool.
It ends with him like, because what he does every time he fails, he tattoos like his failure into his skin.
Oh, cool.
So I think it would be interesting for Belial's character for him to like have one final failure. It could be sad too, like a tragedy. Like he can't stop Vashtor getting this like artifact from the Rock, and like that final tragedy, and then having a new character, which GW likes to do, take over as commander of the Deathwing. I think that could be interesting and a good way to like raise the stakes for the Arc of Omen, because I've enjoyed the Arc of Omen story so far, but like they kind of seem a little bit disconnected from the main plot of like 40k, even though this is supposed to be the the fall of Cadia of this time.
I've enjoyed the first book. I haven't actually finished the second book yet. That's something I have to start doing.
Yeah, I've skimmed through the entirety of Angron, so I know like bits and pieces. I haven't sat down and like fully properly read it, but it's very good. It's got some good Angron moments in it, particularly the end, which is just sad. But yeah, it's go on, sorry.
Oh, it's sad or bad? I missed that.
Sad. Sorry about that. Yeah, because
that's fitting for Angron.
Yeah, it's that good old Angron depression. But no, I have been enjoying the Arc of Omens, but I feel like they could do something to like
really shake it up.
Not necessarily raise the stakes, because the stakes are already pretty damn big, but make the stakes feel more like closer to home.
Yeah, and I also like the idea that you gave that there'll be a new Deathwing commander, and that would also like sort of fix the whole issue of all these old Space Marine characters are now Primaris. It's like
exactly. That's part of the because you have like Azrael becoming Primaris, which I'm fucking pissed how they did that. If that leak is true, why does Azrael nearly die 2 times when Marnius Calgar and Helbrecht were fucking fine? That's bullshit. Why can't the Dark Angels ever have anything nice?
That always seems to be an excuse. Oh, he almost died, but we now saved him as a Primaris, like how we did with Logar Blackmane.
Don't get me started on fucking Logan Blackmane. That asshole. God damn it. He's not the worst Space Wolf, but Grimnar's the worst. Like, don't get me started on Grimnar. He's the worst. They should just kill him off. No, I don't want. Okay, little Space Wolf tangent. You know what I think should happen to Logan Grimnar, like the chapter master of the Space Wolves?
What
He
should
should
happen?
fold. He should fold a corn.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Because of the whole thing, and I'm going to bring this up right now because we are so deep into that convo. Not because you're a Dark Angels fan, and just because it fits with the whole meme lore of Dark Angels hating Space Wolves. You just don't like Space Wolves, yeah?
I just don't like Space Wolves. And to say that you bring up the point, the Dark Angel meme, haha, I don't like Space Wolves. I really like Lehman Russ as a character. He's one of my favorite Primarchs. But the Space Wolves, especially in 40k, are the worst. They, honestly, the Space Wolves in 40k are the Mary Sues people accuse the Ultramarines of being of.
And I will say, initially, the Space Wolf sounds really cool, right?
It does.
They have...
They got that whole aesthetic, like Vikings in space. Who doesn't want that? That's awesome.
They have a cool name. They have a cool aesthetic going on. But when you really look into it, it's horribly uninspired.
Oh yeah. It is as wide as an ocean, but as deep as a puddle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
that's the perfect way.
It's the like blatant favoritism too. Like the spirit of Fenris, the whole deal with the Rune Priests, like they don't get their power from the warp, they get it from Fenris. If that was wrong, and like they were like full on psychers, but they just thought it was from Fenris, or it was like a secret that it was like that would be like very interesting. That would be like an interesting like delusion or like secret for the Space Wolves to keep besides the Wolfen.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the spirit of Fenris is real is so fucking annoying. Because it's almost like a shield from like, no, they can't fall to chaos because it's the spirit of Fenris.
I see.
Then you've got like Logan Grimnar, the chapter master, who like has a demon possessed axe as his main weapon. Yeah,
it's like Fulgrim fell to chaos. Exactly. And he's a Primarch, and he had the same situation.
Exactly. That's the whole point, where it's like, there's not even the slightest hint of taint. Like, I mean, you look at Grey Knight, Castellan Crow, right? Who has to seclude himself. Like, they're trained specifically to fight demons and, like, are incorruptible. And still, Castellan Crow has to, like, seclude himself from the rest of his brothers to make sure that this like demon possessed sword doesn't tempt anyone else around him. Yet Logan Grimnar is a-okay with like a Cornite demon in an axe.
It's like, it sounds like a really cool idea of a of a Viking space marine having a Cornite axe. That sounds really cool.
It does.
But the execution.
Yeah, it's the execution. Like, if the axe was constantly like trying to tempt like Grimnar into being like a Cornite berserker, like that Viking berserker, like that whole deal.
That's something I'm going to bring up.
Like, yeah, he has that sort of like that battle between like the beast and the like man he wants to be, like the loyal servant of the Emperor he wants to be, against like this like need and like berserker rage.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an interesting character. But the fact that it's just like Space Wolf Big Axe, haha, it's such a wasted potential.
And it's like, guys, there's a lot more that goes to being a Viking than what's depicted in Swedish metal bands.
Oh God, tell me about it. I remember I don't know if you want me to say other YouTubers.
Go on, man. It's all right. It's fine.
All right.
Because I was watching. So sorry, I was watching this one video that was like talking about why Space Wolves are uninspired. Like that's where my biggest comments come from.
I think we were watching the same video.
Yeah, he was giving off the same reasons, and I agree with him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was watching that video and it's like
I just
he's
forgot his
saying
name.
what I've been saying for years. I think it's like pancreas at work or something.
Yes, pancreas don't work. I think that's what's called.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching that just. I was at the gym at the time. I was like, he's saying what I've been saying for years. I feel so vindicated. This is what Kurz felt like.
Like,
But it's so like, it's the waste of potential with the Space Wolves that annoy me more than anything.
oh, and don't get me started on how they name their stuff. It's like the Wolf Guard and the Wolf Priest and the Wolf Brothers, the Wolf Riders, the Thunder Wolves. It's like, guys,
yeah. Wolf.
there's a.
It doesn't help with the furry jokes.
They are furries. It's like
They are furry. Yeah.
This is not even Viking aesthetic. This is Viking cosplay. Bad cosplay.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not even good cosplay. It's the sort of Viking cosplay where they have horns on the helmet.
Oh, man.
It's yeah. The Space Wolves I have problems with. Like it's one of those things where I feel like I could have written them better, and I'm not a great writer.
It's like from the Pancreas Stonework video. Imagine Space Wolf colonies, like going
like
on
Space
with
Wolf Varangian Guard or something.
Yes,
something
exactly. That's
so cool.
The idea sounds perfect.
It does. It sounds great. Like Space Wolves, like selling their services as mercenaries. Because have you been following that Rogue Trader game that's going to be coming out at some point? Because I think you have a Space Wolf in your crew.
There is
in that
one,
Rogue Trader game, yeah, and that's perfect. Like Rogue Traders should have like Space Wolves in their crew because that's the whole like that's badass, man.
That is. And it's like
Space Wolf Varangians, like mercenary work sort of thing, but
they also sell their services to say like Tau or Eldar, because that's something Vikings had to. They sell their services to the people of Constantinople.
Yeah, exactly. Constantinia.
Yeah, Byzantine. Yeah.
But what I think would be cool too. Here's what I think should have happened in the lore, like older lore for the Space Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
After the Months of Shame, I think the Space Wolves should have become renegades.
Okay. Yes.
Like they're not part of the Imperium. They're still loyalists, and they still serve the Emperor and all that.
Like the Inquisition would not leave them alone.
No,
after
exactly.
That.
They wouldn't. They like what was it? The Celestial Lions or something. The Inquisition killed them all.
Yes, because they were going to Tattletale. They were like, we're telling.
Exactly. But you're going to tell me that the Space Wolves like openly defied the Inquisition and waged like months of war against them, and they get off scot-free? Don't get me wrong, that's badass. I like the idea of the Space Wolves doing that because it also teaches the Inquisition, don't fuck with first founding chapters. There are some things that are above even you, but I think there should have been consequences.
Yes, but it's like, and again, they would not leave the prisoners alone when the Space Wolves initially helped.
They would not. No, they wouldn't at all. Those prisoners should have been like gunned down by orc snipers. It's like it's ridiculous. Like if Space Wolves became renegades instead of like having no consequences dealt to them, it would have been so much more interesting. Like maybe Fenris got destroyed in this like made up situation. Fenris got destroyed. It could add like subtle things to the rune priests, like a separation from the spirit of Fenris. Mm-hmm. And then it could also go into like the chaos corruption of Grimnar, like the subtle corruption of Grimnar. It could go into the Varangians, where now that they're renegades, the Space Wolves have to sell their services not only to rogue traders but also to like Xenos. Like you said, can you imagine like Farsight having like 3 Space Wolf bodyguards?
Oh, I haven't considered that one. That sounds really cool.
So cool. Samurai and Vikings. That's dope as hell.
And yeah, there's something I want to add into the Space Wolf range. Imagine something like Space Wolf Berserkers.
Yeah, exactly.
Not because they're cornates, but because like real life Berserkers are just really high up, high on drugs.
Or even like on that like
no, maybe not here. Maybe not here. These Space Wolves are high on drugs, but they do play the role of Berserkers. Like they wear more bear pelts, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that could be too like they kind of have that with the Wolfen, but the sort of idea of like you said, can you imagine a unit of like Space Wolf berserkers wearing the skin of like Wolfen?
Oh,
Like
yes.
they have to put down the brothers that go too far, and then they have to like wear their skin, like their pelt sort of thing, as like a symbol of this like unit whose sole purpose is to like put down the Wolfen.
But also, let's tone down the whole wolf theme. Like, it's in their
Yeah,
name,
obviously, yeah,
but definitely put down the whole wolf naming thing. Like, enough of that.
yeah. Well, there is that theory that it's actually not like that's not what the Space Wolves call it themselves. It's just that there's no Fenrisian translation in the Gothic, which is cool, but it's also kind of that's an excuse.
It is just an excuse. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's like when people came up with the indoctrination theory for Mass Effect 3 because the ending was so shit.
hmm. And especially with the whole idea of this, because Vikings themselves, they have like a huge trade empire, and because they made so many
They did,
colonies,
they
imagine
did, yeah,
imagine this could be a solid way to do Space Wolf successors. Like,
yeah,
imagine Space Wolves that are kind of like Keithian,
yeah, like
Russian,
the Kievan Rus or something like that.
yes,
That would be so cool. Like
Slavic
different
Space Wolves.
flavors. Yeah, Slavic Space Wolves. Uh, on top, you mentioned like the lack of Space Wolf successors. I do find it funny. There is technically more Chaos Warbands of Space Wolves than there are successors.
Mm.
Because there's two Space Wolf like traitor warbands.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah, because I remember from the
I
one, yeah.
yeah, I keep those in my back pocket for when Space Wolves get uppity about the Fallen.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
that is right. They have more fallen brothers than they do have successors. That's
exactly,
true. That's so
exactly.
true.
And they fell the corn just like Grimnar should have.
Yes,
But it's
There's
like again, it's
so
the
much
waste of
opportunity.
potential. Yeah, it's the waste of potential that annoys me more than the actual the lore. Like again, I feel like I could have written this better in some places, and I'm not like a good writer.
Like, technically, the both of us right now and YouTubers,
Exactly,
they're talking about better ideas to do with Space Wolves.
exactly. And it's like, yeah, it's like again, I like Lehman Russ as a character, but it feels like the modern Space Wolves kind of like have forgotten some of what Russ's teachings were because especially after the heresy, Russ didn't really like the like primal barbarity of the Space Wolves. He wanted it to kind of be more like how we were talking about how they would, kind of like not colonize per se, but like have a bit more of a historically accurate take on Vikings.
Yes,
Where they would keep that like raiding and like brutal like warfare sort of thing, but they would be warriors, not like animals.
exactly. And it's like,
Yeah,
because there's a lot more to being a Viking than what's depicted in Swedish bands.
exactly,
It's like, because
exactly.
one of the biggest things that they did were they were traders.
Yeah, they were. They were primarily traders, kind of, to be honest. Like, fair enough, they might be trading stuff they stole, but it was still
Yeah.
trading.
Or imagine something like this. Imagine, because there were some Vikings or there are Vikings that became, Christianized.
Hmm.
Imagine Space Wolves that converted to the ecclesiarchy,
That would be very interesting. That
especially the
would be very,
relationship.
yeah. That would be very interesting because that actually kind of made me think of what would be cool is like a order of like sisters, but like on from one of these hypothetical space wolf colonies where they're kind of a bit more like Valkyries.
Oh, I
Yeah,
like that.
like a order of like sisters of battle where instead of that like Catholic nun aesthetic, they have like those pagan like
That's
Norse
an
priestess sort like Valkyrie sort of thing.
that's an interesting idea. That's an
I think that
interesting
could be cool
idea.
because you see this it doesn't just diversify the potential of the space wolves. It also you can do so much more with it.
Hmm.
Like, because you have then these worlds that are colonies. Like, can you imagine a guardsman regiment like of like kind of mini Vikings? I think they already have something like that, to be honest.
Maybe. I
But
don't see why not.
or could you imagine like an Imperial Knight world, like an Imperial Knight, but as like this giant mecha Viking with like a giant axe instead of an arm, and like a big ass shield, like round shield on his back or something.
Something like that. Or imagine
Yeah,
if
something like
like there's this, something like a Night World, but it's like a medieval Sweden where they're not
yeah,
Vikings, but
exactly,
it's like later on when they eventually.
exactly. Became
So
like Christian or something.
yeah, it shows it fits with the whole Nordic theme of Space Wolves
Yeah, yeah,
because there is more. Because Nordic history is them being Vikings and then eventually becoming like a feudal kingdom.
yeah, exactly. It's like they've leaned, like you don't just need to lean on like the Viking era of Scandinavian history. You can take things from all sorts of different ones, like you said, like medieval Sweden when they started to Christianize, but there was still very much that like undertone of like
Nordic culture
pagan,
to it.
yeah, like Nordic culture and like pagan, not religion, but like that mysticism to
Hmm.
it. But yeah, the Space Wolf. I have issues with the Space Wolves.
And I'm just going to bring this one last idea because I think I just saw of it right now and it sounds really cool.
Mm.
So, how much do you know about Norse mythology?
I know quite a bit about Norse mythology. I know quite a bit.
So
I'm
this
not an
is
expert by any means, but you know.
right, but you know the wolf Garm?
Say that again, please.
Garm, Garm. I think that's how you spell his name.
Yes, Wolf Grim. I always pronounce it Grim. Yeah,
Okay.
I know that guy.
Yeah, the wolf in hell that's like chained.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
imagine a wolfen that's like probably very old. It's
Mm.
become like this giant human hybrid wolf creature that's just
Yes.
absolutely brutal. And
Hmm.
he's always chained up because they don't trust him being out in the wild on Fenris. Imagine something like
Yeah.
that. A giant wolfen named Garm.
Oh yeah, that would be so cool. That could be Logan Grimnar.
Oh.
Imagine like a situation where Fenris falls, and in that last moment, like the axe gets the better of him, and he becomes that, and it's Grimnir.
Oh.
Uh,
Ah,
yeah,
ah.
it's there. They sound the same.
And
But
this
yeah,
could
that could
lead
be
to
cool.
Blackmane becoming like
Exactly,
chapter
the new
master.
chapter master. Exactly. Progress in the Space Wolf story.
But too bad Games
Let's
Workshop
do it.
is too deep to actually do that.
Oh yeah. You can't be missing out on that money.
But
But
yeah, but that's such a good idea, man. That's such a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah, it's potential, man. It's like, I don't know. You know, Space Wolves. They suck.
They you didn't. I'm going to the Hank Hill meme where it's like you're not making Space Marines cool. You made Vikings worse.
Yeah, exactly. They made Vikings worse rather than making Space Marines cool.
Or maybe that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. You said it right. Don't worry. I am curious though. What are some other chapters you think could like have a little tweak to them, or like a potential successor idea you have for a like Space Marine like first founding legion? Because I think I have one for the White Scars that could be pretty interesting.
I don't have any specifics, but I'm interested in what you have to say.
So recently I was playing a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima,
Okay.
and it got me thinking like a White Scar successor with that is inspired by samurai.
Okay.
Like kind of that idea of, so the White Scars themselves are like Mongolian themed,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea of like this planet that kind of fought against the White Scars maybe, and not
Okay.
necessarily defeated them, but handed them like you know, similar to the historical standpoint of Tsushima, like the Kamikaze, the Great Wind, like Divine Wind, and things like that. So like a heavily psycho successor chapter themed after like Japanese mythology.
Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. And Dusky actually made her own Space Marine chapter that are like samurai. So there's
Really?
material there to work with.
Yeah, there's plenty of material. Also, while I'm on the topic, a Aztec themed Blood Angel successor could be pretty cool.
Oh, actually, I have something about Aztec Space Marine. So,
Oh, really? Go ahead.
Rainbow Warriors, right?
Yes.
So, because there was this fan creation of them being Aztecs, I have an interesting idea on how they could do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, they're not loyalists, but they're actually a corrupted fallen chapter.
Okay, that's interesting.
And what happened is that the Space Marine chapter got stranded on a jungle world. That's sort of something like Hatchan. But the difference is that this death world is actually a chaos corrupted one. And that's because there's a sun that orbits that's actually warp mutated.
Oh, that's cool.
A warp infested sun. And because of this, it actually drives the Space Marines on this jungle world insane. And because they find the original pyramids from the original inhabitants of that world, that's when they start doing whole things like the blood sacrifices and the heart rip out. Because
that's really cool, actually. I like the idea of the chaos corrupted sun, where it's almost like instead of like UV rays, it's like blasting the planet with warp energy. That's fucking badass, man. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because if you really look into like Aztec culture, it's like
the whole like
besides the whole heart rip out, they also like wear the skin of people.
Yeah, they were fucked up people, man.
And it's like
crazy.
Oh, especially like I forgot, Hubert will know the name, but it's like a closet chamber or something like that where it's just skulls.
Yeah.
So imagine that, like imagine these rainbow warriors with like skulls, and their iconography. It's not like the traditional chaos star, but it's actually a sun with like a maw.
Yeah, because isn't like an Aztec symbol actually like a sort of like base sun thing?
Something like that.
I don't know. Again, Hubert would probably know this more than me. But yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that would.
That's badass. That kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Cornite version of the Leia from Fulgrim, like a planet that corrupts space marines.
That's exactly
And then, oh man, that's really cool. I would love to see like some art or some models of that.
Yeah, I remember years ago, I wanted to do a video like that where I talked about my ideas for Rainbow Warriors, and I just never got around to doing it. But that was my idea.
That's dope as hell. That's a really good idea. I'm a fan. I'd paint up some Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, like Corn Age Rainbow Warriors. That would fit so well, especially with the Aztec aesthetic.
Oh yeah. Get a couple of like old. You know what would be really cool? Have a unit like Rainbow Warrior, like Jaguars or Jaguars, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's Jaguar Warriors. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Like, I think that planet could be a cool mix of like Caliban, like the Great Beast of Caliban, and Caliban and Catachan. There we go.
Yes.
Catachan. That would be really cool. I really like that idea.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, something else I would like to see there is like maybe like the human cultists of that world. Like if they had like human cultists, I could picture some pretty messed up stuff like human sacrifice, like not fully killed but like flayed, like guardsmen or something.
Like what?
Pretty cool.
Like what I'm thinking is that the original inhabitants of this world, they actually embrace the Rainbow Warriors who have come to the world, seeing them as messengers from Korn or his followers. Yeah. And eventually they turn them into their followers or followers of Korn. Exactly. And for the whole blood sacrifice, sacrificing the normal humans wouldn't be much of a sacrifice. But
No.
because Aztecs are more interested in the nobles from neighboring countries.
Yeah.
Because, because Mexico during that time was a bunch of nations, right? There was the Aztecs and the
Bunch of
other
tribes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this would be a great idea. So this would be the idea that these Rainbow Warriors go out to find other Space Marines and were the opponents to bring to their temple.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Like a sort of like raiding parties, but kind of like how Drukari go and raid for slaves, but
Mhm.
these Rainbow Warriors would go and raid for sacrifices,
Mm-hmm.
like worthy sacrifices. That could be cool. Could even have like a gladiatorial pit where they would like pit the captors against mighty Rainbow Warriors, warriors I guess, and the winners would be sacrificed. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a fan. That's a really cool idea, man.
Thanks. But besides all that, I think we're at a good point where I can ask you some questions that people have asked of us. If
Go
you're
ahead.
good with that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Question number 1 is: despite being a self-proclaimed Dark Angel simp, do you think Descent of Angels is a good Horus Heresy book?
Descent of Angels. It's been a while since I've read Descent of Angels. That was one of the first like Dark Angel stories I read.
Mhm.
But from my memory, I actually did quite enjoy that book for the parts that were set on Caliban. So that I don't know if you've read it.
I haven't.
Basically, it's the story of the Emperor's arrival to Caliban
Mhm.
and like the last days of the Lion's war against the great beasts of Caliban.
Mhm.
But it's not told from the Lion's perspective. It's told from a character called Zahariel, who would eventually become Cypher in the Horus Heresy.
Oh, that
And
sounds
it's
cool.
him, and it's his initiation into the order, like the Order of Knights of Caliban, and like his journey from becoming a Knight of the Order into becoming a Space Marine.
Mhm.
And the stuff on Caliban, I think, is really, really cool. I really like Caliban. It's for obvious reasons. It's my favorite, like Primarch homeworld. I think the idea of like a planet of like forests inhabited by like chaos corrupted like kaiju monsters is really cool. And then you have Techno Knights fighting them off. That's badass. I love it. After they leave Caliban, that's when I start having some problems
Oh.
because I feel like it rushes too into like Luther's exile, and it's not. I understand the Horus Heresy. There's a lot of stories you need to tell, but I feel like they could have like set up Luther like his jealousy towards the Lion a little bit better, and then maybe kept him around a little bit into the Great Crusade, because I think it's like their first like actual like compliance away from Caliban, where Luther almost lets the Lion get nuked.
Mhm.
So I think they could have maybe like set up again. It's difficult with Horus Heresy because the main story is the Horus Heresy. That's why I think a Great Crusade series would could have been great. Set up like these plot points earlier. But I don't know when I say that because the first Heretic is like 90% of that book is in technically set in the Great Crusade. So I think I think an extra 100 pages could have done that book a lot better, like Descent of Angels. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, from how you described it, sounds like they had really cool ideas, but the idea could have been done better.
Yeah, again, the stuff on Caliban I really enjoyed from what I remember. There's a moment where Zahariel like runs into some watchers in the dark and they debate killing him, which was very cool. Made me like fall in love with the watchers even more than I do already was. But yeah, I feel like all in all, 7 out of 10.
All right. And as for the next question, and maybe this is a culture thing, but I don't know. But how does it feel about square bullets? I don't get
Square
that.
bullet. It's that meme of like popple guns or something like that, where they would use like regular bullets for Christians and square bullets for Turks because they were harder to stitch up.
Oh,
My answer to that question is square bullets are cringe, and you can shoot them at us all you want. It won't unjanissary your sons.
okay.
That's that. Yeah, I'll explain that joke if you want. Basically, the Janissary were like the elite guard of the Ottoman Sultan, and they were all like slave boys or like Christian boys taken as slaves and converted into Islam.
Oh, I heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that. I get that.
Mhm. Yeah.
We're having fun, YouTube. Calm down.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. No one cares about the Turks.
Oh, come on, bro.
No,
The Turks are
no.
bro. The
Yeah.
Turks are base. Come on.
Yeah, we are. They are based, but we're a little too based.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, sell down.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah.
As for the next question, how does it feel to wake up and just be the most natural Chad in life and on Twitter?
The reason I am such a Chad is because I feed off of the Chad energy of all my mutuals and friends. So really, I have all of you to thank for that.
That's very nice.
All right.
And the same guy asks, why have you not blocked Hugh? Let me say again. Why have you not blocked Hubrecht for his ridiculous opinion of Black Templars being superior to Dark Angels?
I feel like it's always good to keep an L opinion around, so I know what good opinions are, and that is why I haven't blocked Hugh yet.
Yeah,
Just kidding. I love you, man.
I already have like the meme idea where it's like you and Hubrecht eventually meet, and you're having the whole debate like the Greek and the Turk on that webcam, and you would go, but you don't understand. I'm more using a Turkish accent. I'm more white than you. You look gypsy. I have blonde hair. You look gypsy.
Yep. Well, I am very white. I am very pale. So that works. I'm whiter than Hubrecht.
Yeah, it's like I've seen Hubrecht's face in real life, and it's like he's very. I would say he's tan. But I guess the Europeans, that's gypsy.
I plead the fifth. No comment. But yeah.
Calm down, YouTube. We're having fun. I didn't mean anything.
Don't worry. Don't cancel me, please.
No, just don't take away my YouTube account.
Yeah, all that.
Hey, it's okay. I have a gypsy friend.
Oh, God.
But anyways, moving on and onwards.
Yeah.
Why are the Black Templars greater knights than the Dark Angels? You probably know who this is from.
Yeah, I know who this is, Hugh. And for this, I actually have both the Dark Angels and Templar codexes in front of me. So let me just look through the Black Templar one for a minute. I'm not seeing any units called Knights. Emperor's Champion, Crusader Squad, Grimaldus, regular Crusader Squad, Sword Brethren. Not seeing any Knights. Meanwhile, let me open up the Dark Angel Codex.
Oh, god damn, he's dragging him.
My, what is this? Page 70 of the Dark Angels Codex.
Oh, man.
Deathwing Knights. Deathwing Knights are the chapter's ultimate death dealers. Their strikes breaking the enemy's back in one fell swoop. Equipped with heirloom war gear, they teleport into the heart of the thickest fighting, led by Knight Masters, who are whirlwinds of deathly destruction.
Oh, god damn, it's raw. He's giving him a raw.
I rest my case.
Ah, god damn, that was raw.
But no, jokes aside. Yeah, Arthurian legends have knights in the title. Hoods, we are the better knights.
It's part of the job.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I actually really like mine and Hugh's little rivalry about Dark Angels versus versus Black Templars with who is the true Knights of the Emperor. It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. It's like,
Yeah.
but that was just a good ratio, man.
We'll see. He'll have a comeback. He always does.
You have your sources. You have your source.
I do. I've cited sources. You know, Hugh will just comment that Senator Armstrong, my sources that I made it the fuck up.
Yeah, but it's like he has to make up his opinions. You
He does.
have your opinions. You have your source.
Yep. Ratio.
In an essay, you don't say I made it up. In an essay, you list your sources.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
God damn. God damn.
God damn! I got him. Finally. Lepento has been avenged.
But as for the last question,
Mm-hmm.
pick one 40K and fantasy novel to be produced at your command.
So fantasy is an easy one because I've not actually read any,
Mhm.
but I've heard very good things about the Gotrek and Felix books.
Oh, yes, you'll like them.
I even have Troll Slayer looking at me from my bookcase. I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet.
Oh, you'll like it, man. It's not
Yeah.
it's so good, but also there's a lot of parts where it's just so funny.
Yeah, I've heard it's kind of. I've heard some people compare it to the Infinite and the Divine a little bit, where it's like badass moments and like action and things like that, but also very funny.
Mhm.
Like it's a light read.
It is, and there are short stories that are connected together.
Yeah, and I do know a little bit about Gotrek and Felix's lore. Like I know, isn't Felix supposed to be like a bard or something, like a noble?
So here's the thing: people will say he's a bard, and that's technically not right in my opinion. If we're using like
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons terms,
Okay.
he's not a noble. He is a merchant's son, and he went to a fancy university, and he wants to write poem. He considers himself a gentleman. He wants to write poems and all that. That's why he's joined Gotrek, or one of the reasons why he joins Gotrek. But considering his character and what he does, he is more of a fighter.
Oh, okay. All right. That surprises me because I from everything I'd heard, I thought like Gotrek was the fighter and
For Gotrek, he's a berserker.
yeah, I heard he's like
I mean barbarian. He will be the barbarian in Dungeons and Dragons world.
Hell yeah. I do like. So again, I'm not too familiar with fantasy lore. I'm slowly learning. Just so we get this out there, Skaven are my favorite faction so far.
You'll like Skaven Slayer then.
Oh yeah, I love the Ratman. Glory to the Horned Rat. But I close second to the dwarves because in general I love fantasy dwarves. I actually also big fan of the Leagues of Votan at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Gotrek. I like the. I lost my train of thought. I'm just thinking about dwarves now. I like, from what I heard, it's like he needs to have a chronicler to make sure his death is like, a good story or something.
Mm-hmm. He wants Felix to write down his glorious doom. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like a cultural thing for the dwarves.
The whole idea for being a slayer in general is that he wants, you have to seek redemptive death, but for something like Felix, he wants someone to record his story. Someone to remember him for.
Okay, that's cool. I like it. Yeah, I'll give it a read. Probably after the cipher book, I'll finally bite the bullet and start Troll Slayer.
Mm-hmm. But what kind of 40K book we want?
As for 40K, now the easy answer would be the Eisenhorn series, like the Eisenhorn story, or Xenos.
Mm-hmm.
But there's two that I would really like to see, like put onto like the big screen. I'm assuming this is movies we're talking about. I would like
movies, TV show, something like that.
Yeah. I would like a Watchers of the Throne series, which follows a custodian and a Sister of Silence. That would be really hard to do because Sisters of Silence, they don't speak, but I would love to see like Valerian and Alea like on the big screen, like kicking ass and stuff.
That sounds cool.
Or the Josh Reynolds book Apocalypse. I think that would make a really good like movie. It'd be a little slow because a lot of that book is like talks of religion. But I think that would be like the final like battle of that movie would be great. I would love to see like Apocalypse put onto the screen. But yeah, those would be my two choices.
So as for me, I think I already shared my opinion before about a potential cool Godric and Felix TV show. Like that would be pretty cool. But what I'm thinking too, like recently I started reading a Caiaphas Cain book, For the Emperor.
Oh, For the Emperor. Is that the one with with the Tau?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Yes. I really like the character of Caiaphas, so what I think would be cool.
He's great.
Imagine a TV show for like Amazon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, where it follows like, or they turn the For the Emperor into a TV show. That'd be a really cool idea.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
Like they don't have to do the entire book series because the book series is like its own library.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, but I think one about just For the Emperor, I think that would be really cool because
that would be very cool. Yeah, that's a great place to start too because it introduces like how and things like that, and that'd be really cool.
And it definitely talks about like commissar culture, and it's like Caiaphas or Cain. I'm going to say Cain. He goes to he dismisses like the meme lore about how the commissar just shoots people. He makes it clear that if you actually do that, you're not going to be commissar for long.
No, exactly.
A gunslinging psychopath.
Oh yeah. That I really like that about Caiaphas Cain. Actually, how he is like such a good leader without like realizing how good of a leader he is.
It's like he always like has all his self fear, and he wants to like run away from the situation.
Yeah, but he's got himself into like he's dug his hole with this like hero of the Imperium line, and he needs to like keep up appearances. I like that a lot about him. He's a fun character, Caiaphas Cain. I like the notes. Like the notes that the Inquisitor is making too.
Yes, definitely that. It's like because it does tell that Caiaphas is like he's telling his story, but his story is sometimes wrong in like certain contexts because he just doesn't know.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's just like it's his story, so and he doesn't care about like anyone else's in this like situation. It's a lot of fun. He's a fun character. I really like Caiaphas Cain.
And what was I going to say? And also, yes, there is like him trying to keep up with appearances, but at the same time, he does become a leader in certain situations where
he does, yeah,
because it's just naturally part of him now.
Yeah, what I like about Caiaphas Cain is that he calls himself a coward more than he actually is a coward, because he doesn't back down from like having to play the part of the hero of the Imperium. So really, he is the hero people think he is. It's just his mentality is different than what people assume it is. Because he's still doing all these things. So he is the hero, people think he is. He just, is doing it for different reasons.
It's like he like for his whole career he wanted to be that commissar that's just part of a artillery unit.
Oh yeah, he just wanted a nice cushy job where he could stay as far away from the battlefield as possible. That would be I have a question for you, unrelated, if you don't mind.
Sure thing, go on.
If you were in 40k, if you were in like the setting of 40k,
oh boy,
and you were forced to be a human in it, so you can't be an orc, you can't be like a Eldar or something. You have to be a member of the Imperium. What would you be?
Oh man, well, I'm not in a wide well, considering how I am, knowing how I am, I don't think I have that many options. But um,
No.
uh, that's really difficult because I wouldn't want to be a mechanic, despite me working in the automotive field, because they're really fucked up.
Oh yeah. That would definitely not the Mechanicus. I like having my squishy parts.
Yeah, this is they're too fucked up for that.
Oh yeah, they are
Uh,
gloriously fucked up.
mhm. That's really hard because I don't have that many options. But
You want me to tell you what I'd be?
sure,
First, I would be a rogue trader,
okay.
and I would just hang out in like the least dangerous part of space, like Tau space, like deep into Tau space, just trading stuff.
Maybe you might know this. How do you see me being?
Uh, hmm. That's a good question. I could see you. You know what I could see you being? I
What?
could see you being a ecclesiarchy like spokesman. Like you would
Okay.
basically be doing like a podcast still, but like echoed throughout the entire like hive and like speaking the glory of the emperor.
Actually, yeah, that's something fitting. That's something I would be doing.
Yeah, like you would be like the propaganda department, like the radio host propaganda department.
That's right.
Yeah, I could see that. Like
Yeah,
at the administratum or something.
yeah, and funny enough, actually, I for the longest time I was actually a altar server at my local church and all that. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so
That's interesting.
yeah, that was something I did for a year. So that's something I would probably do in a 4K
Yeah,
setting, like be a sort of server within a ecclesiarchy church.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think that could actually be a pretty comfortable living for the Imperium, like working in the ecclesiarchy in some way, especially if it's on like a small planet,
Mhm.
like not like a hive city, maybe like a feudal world or so. Well, a feudal world would probably be the best bet because it's basically just old Earth
Mhm.
in some ways. But yeah, yeah, I would be a rogue trader, and you would be a Ministorum podcast host.
Exactly, that'd be fitting.
I like it. I like it. Hubrick would be one of Helbrick's servitors.
He would, despite all his art he does. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. He would be one of Helbrick's servitors.
that's right.
Yeah. To be fair, if we're going that way, I'd probably be a Dark Angel servitor. Like I clean out the Watchers in the Darks, like shit pit or something. It's honest. It's it's hard work, but it's honest work.
Honest pay for honest work.
Oh yeah.
But with that,
Ah, yeah.
yeah, but with that, I think we've reached the end of the show. Is there anything you
All
want to
right.
say before we call an end?
No, but thank you for having me, man. This was a lot of fun.
And thank you for coming on. I had a lot of fun talking to you.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good time. It was a hell of a good time, man. I hope the episode comes out well, and I might not listen to it because I hate the sound of my own voice. But yeah, I'd definitely be down to do this again at some point.
Definitely. And maybe
Yeah.
I'll definitely invite you into more stuff. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I'm down.
And if any of you enjoy this episode, maybe consider subscribing and activating
Yeah.
the bell notification so you'll never miss an episode. And with that, I'll see you all next time.